Hey y'all, welcome to In Full Bloom for this June, the beginning of June 2025. Before we get started, wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about perennials and how they act. I don't know if y'all have ever heard this, but perennials have this, it takes a minute for them to get going. And as I've told y'all before, our garden is relatively new. So the saying goes that the first year perennials sleep. And meaning they're just trying to kind of get their root systems going and get established. The second year, they creep. So they get a little bit bigger. You can tell a little bit more of what they're going to look like. But their third year, they leap. So if you have some perennials and they just aren't quite doing what you want them to do, make sure that you're giving them about 3 years and then decide. Unless, of course, if they died, then you've got to get rid of it and replace it. But if it's just that it's not quite getting the size quick enough or the blooms aren't looking as great as you thought they were going to, just give them a little bit of time before you make that final judgment. So come along on this tour as I show you what's in full bloom in our garden, Zone 8B, Georgia. And this is hot and cold Kniphofia. It is absolutely showing out right now. And they are reblooming. Usually their first flush is kind of their best, but if you cut the stalks, they'll just keep sending up new pokers. So their common name is red hot poker. This variety is hot and cold. It's by Proven Winners. And it's evergreen here, and so it looks like a grass during the winter time. So it gives a little bit of winter interest. And now in June, it's giving us some wonderful color. This is double scoop bubblegum Echinacea, so known as a coneflower. These are its third year. As you can see, the center of them look different than your standard Echinacea. See that the petals almost fold downward. These get about 24 inches tall and wide. This is from the butterfly candy selection that this come out a couple of years ago. It's a dwarf butterfly bush, and this is little lavender. They get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, and they're a low water plant. These butterfly bushes got the spider mites last year, and so we did a rejuvenation prune on them this year, which worked out fine. If you're in a colder zone, I think they die all the way back to the ground. But here in Georgia 8B, they actually still can sometimes have leaves on them from the year before. So I made sure to take off all the leaves, and this is what's come back. And this is Pugster blue beside it. It also is 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. And you can see that every butterfly bush, even in these dwarf varieties, they all kind of look a little bit different. So this blue has a much more pointy panicle, and its leaves are a little bit deeper green than this little lavender candy butterfly. And their panicles aren't real they're not super long. They're a little bit shorter and wider. This is Pugster Amethyst Butterfly Bush from Proven Winners. This is one of my favorite out of the dwarf series because of the fat plumes of petals and the thick leaves. It really is just a beautiful eye-popping pastel purple that you can see from across the yard. This is Double Delight Wedding Gown Hydrangea, or so I think. It came with multiple tags in the nursery pot. This is its third location in our yard. We've had to move it around quite a bit just due to trying to find the right sun location for it. Of course, the tag said full sun, so I thought it needed full sun, but learning more about gardening over the years, I went back and was looking at its tag and doing some Googling, and it is a microphylla, so I was like, well, that means that it needs afternoon shade here in the south. And so we moved it into this location, our only shade that we have in the yard, and it's doing really well. What I really love about this variety is that it gets only 2 to 3 feet tall, but then it spreads 3 to 5 feet wide. And so eventually we'll have to move this heuchera around it in order to give it some more room. But right now, it's doing really well. I just love it's different than something like our BloomStruck that's also a macrophylla, and that it has a lace cap bloom on it, which I think is so pretty. They're like these little bitty rosette looking blooms. This is an Incrediball Hydrangea from Proven Winners. It gets 4 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. This one we have 2, and this one's a little bit more in the shade. And this hydrangea is Hydrangea arborescens. It's a smooth hydrangea, and it grows on new wood. I'm going to do a video pretty soon talking about the different types of hydrangeas and contrasting them, so keep a lookout for that video. With this one being in the shade, a little bit more shade, it doesn't bloom quite as much as the one that we moved to the full sun, because the other one that I'm showing you, it was actually back here in this, underneath this tree canopy. In the south, we have to put our hydrangeas with a little bit of afternoon sun protection. But the one that we had, I think, was kind of over closer where this bench is at now, and it was getting just too much shade. So they do need some sun in order to flower nicely, but you need to give them a little bit of afternoon protection if you live in the south. And even though this is only its second year, the stems are strong enough to hold up the blooms on the top here. Of course, these are the new buds here, and then they kind of are starting to open there. And then as they age, look at that. So beautiful. We moved this hydrangea from its partner on the other side of the yard in order to give it a little bit more sun. and it really seems to like its spot here. These guys right here are called Tiger Eye Coneflower. They're from Monrovia, and I got these. Let me show y'all. This is their tag. I got these last year. So not quite the same. And I believe what's gonna happen is it's gonna age to the color in the picture, but I really wasn't looking for orange in my garden, because right here behind it is an ultraviolet phlox. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. Those won't bloom until later on this summer, but I have a feeling they're going to be in bloom at the same time. And if they are, I'm not sure those two colors next to each other will be very pleasing to the eye. So I'm not sure if these coneflowers will get to stay in the garden or not. But let me tell you a little bit about them in case you're looking for something that's orange that will turn a nice peachy apricot. They take full sun, and they are in zones 4 to 9, and they get 18 inches tall and wide. So these are Tiger Eye Coneflower. So I'm hoping that they'll work out, but we will see. Right now, they look really nice because of these red hot pokers that I showed y'all earlier. Also have that orange right at the top. Let me see if I can zoom out enough so that y'all can get those in the same picture. So it works right now, but like I said, I'm not sure with the ultraviolet phlox that it will, and I really love the color of the ultraviolet phlox, so I think I will choose those over the coneflowers. Alright, so this is the Rainbow Rhythm series of daylilies from Proven Winners. It's the orange smoothie variety, and they get 24 inches tall. We've had these now for I think 4 years. They struggle with aphids and some other bug issues, and so they're really a little bit late to the game. We've just kind of struggled whether we were going to keep them or not because of all of the bug pressure that we have to deal with them here, but we change our mind every year when they then are in bloom because they're just so pretty. And I tell y'all, at night they look like they glow in the landscape. They look like little flashlights out here. Isn't that so pretty with the cute little feminine ruffle and then the coloration in the center? I just love them. If only we could get them to bloom longer than a day. So the ones there on the left side of this plant are yesterday's blooms, and that's what they look like right before they fall off. But a really unique looking. I love the pastel. Of course, we got these to go and kind of mimic the peachy orange colors of the Atlas roses. And the strappy foliage, of course, is just something different in this area. We don't have anything else really like that. So this is Orange Smoothie Daylily. And this is Denim and Lace Russian Sage. We have 3 of them here. So this is the one that's been here the longest. This one we moved from a shadier spot. And then we have one on the other side. And it's new for this year. I love its feathery texture and just the contrast that it brings along with its blue-green foliage. We have it here with Baptisia and with some Salvia. So what I'm hoping it'll do is it grows in, it'll kind of come just underneath this rose standard. So this is the Julia Child rose in a standard form, which just means it's kind of in a tree. And I didn't get it in its first initial bloom because I wasn't on YouTube yet, but it is really putting on a really pretty second flush. So I wanted to show that because it is definitely in full bloom right now. I love the buttery yellow color that it brings. It's just like a little pop of sunshine here. All right, this is meant to be Nectarine, Agastache or Agastache. There's a whole bunch of ways to pronounce it, but it has this peach color. And of course, I'm trying to mimic that throughout my garden. It is supposed to get about 3 to 4 feet tall. I don't remember how wide. I'll leave that on the screen. This is its 3rd year. It is very drought tolerant. It doesn't really like any fertilizers or any special treatment. And what's really pretty about it is its calyx. Let me get a little bit closer and show y'all. So its calyx has this really like mauve looking flower at the tip of it. So even when the peach flower falls off, the calyx makes the plant look like it's still in bloom, and it will stay like this all the way until frost. And its common name is hummingbird mint, so as you might imagine, the hummingbirds love it. There's also another one. It's royal something that's like a magenta pink. So if you don't like the peachy color, there's some other options. But I like this taller variety for this mid-level part of my garden. And around it I have many plants that form more of that rounded shape that's really dense. So I have butterfly bush and gardenia and such. And so this adds a nice textural contrast. So you don't have to just worry about, again, leaf color, but think about the way the plant grows and the style, and that also can add some additional interest. Well, this is Blackbeard Penstemon. It's our most recent addition as far as perennials go to our garden, and it's the only one blooming. Well, I had another one blooming, but I had to cut it off because the bloom stalks fell over. It gets its name because the most common name for Penstemon is Beard's Tongue, and so it's a little twist on that by calling it Blackbeard because it's a dark foliage. It has this really pretty lilac bell or trumpet shaped blooms that the hummingbirds absolutely love. This is we have 2 varieties here. We have this Blackbeard, but if you look back over towards the back is Onyx and Pearls, and the difference between these 2 is height. So the Blackbeard is a little bit shorter in height and not quite as wide. It gets about 32 inches tall and 24 inches wide. And so just trying to break up some of the green that's in this perennial area with some of the darker burgundy, black, however you want to call it, foliage. And so there we have Blackbeard Penstemon. Alright, now I just want to go around and show you what else is blooming in my garden this end of May, beginning of June of 2025. Some of the videos are a little bit out of order. We had a function here Memorial Day weekend, and some of the videos are getting put out of order a little bit because of that. And one is coming up talking about Chelsea Chop. And so I'm telling you about this because if you've been following along, along, then you know that these shorter plants here in the front were once the opening act blush Phlox, and we've already cut them back. They were blooming when we cut them back, but they were very floppy. Oddly enough, we've had a lot of rain recently. It's very unusual. Past couple years here in Georgia, Zone 8B has been in a drought, and so having consistent rain is kind of unusual all of a sudden for us, where that's kind of what I grew up dealing with. But because we've had so many years of drought or extreme weather where it's a lot of rain and then a lot of drought and back and forth, consistent rain is kind of a little bit unusual for us, but I am loving it. So I do want you to know that it would be blooming had we not cut it back. Also, as you're looking now, this is BloomStruck Hydrangea. It's an endless summer hydrangea. I've shared this with y'all before, as I will all of these. I guess I don't need to keep saying that because I have shown y'all these before. So if you want more information on these plants, I won't be doing the information on these on the screen. Go back and look at the playlist called In Full Bloom, in which I go over each of these plants as they come into bloom. This is Unplugged White Salvia, and I don't know whether to categorize it as a annual or perennial, so we'll add it in here from time to time. It's hard to not mention it because it just looks so striking. And here on the trellis is a Clematis. I don't know what variety it is. We've had it for quite some time, but it's been in every video, so it's really doing its job. All right, and this is PowWow White Coneflower. What I think is looking its best right now, so I'm glad y'all are getting to see it. I mean, you can hardly see the plant at the top. There's so many blooms. And tucked in back behind there, the little peach is Firefly Peach Sky Yarrow from Proven Winners, and we have 3 of those. You can see they may look a little different than last time you saw them because these are more of their aged blooms. It has kind of a yellow or a very, very muted peach color. And this is Magic Show's white, excuse me, white Veronica, Speedwell, or white wands. Sorry, let me get the name right. Magic Show White Wands Veronica. That is a mouthful. And it's coming close to being at the end of its bloom cycle. And when it does, we will cut it all back. It's one that I really hang on to until the very end, because I don't know if you can tell, and we've talked about this before, the pollinators really, really like this plant. And I'm not just talking about just bees. Like, there's little pollinators and big pollinators and bees and all kinds of things. So I try to leave them as long as they're interested in them. All right, now we have pink Profusion Salvia. Has some blooms on it still. Back behind it, there's a few blooms of, this is Rockin' Blue Suede Shoes Salvia. And how could I forget? In the very back there is Whirling Butterflies, or Gara, White Gara. And the last thing we have is the At Last Roses. They have some fresh little buds just beginning to emerge. Those will all soon be in full bloom. Thank y'all again for watching. If you enjoy seeing what is in bloom in our Zone 8B and want to see if that matches up with what you have, or if you're interested in some new plants and want to know how long they stay in bloom, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you around. Y'all have a great day.